just because that's what people do. And playing some basketball in January about 1983, I guess, I stole the ball from this kid and about half court, and I was going in for a layup, and I'll be danged if he didn't grab me by the feet, and I fell. And I really banged hard and I knocked the wind out of me, and I'm sure you've all had that experience too, where you just can't breathe. And of course I went to the bench and I couldn't breathe, and you know, about 2 or 3 hours went by and I still couldn't breathe. And that's kind of odd to not be able to get your breath back. And they actually took me to the ER after that and said, you should be getting your breath back. And they put oxygen on me and they kind of investigated, and they thought, gosh, I think that you have a little bit of a pinched nerve. Your diaphragm isn't sucking air in the way it should, or contracting right so that your lungs aren't bringing air in the way they should. And we want to do some stuff to you. We're not sure. We want to do lots of tests. We want to do a lot of you know, invasive stuff if we have to, but that's what we think is going on. And I was like, you know, this is about as healthy a body as I'm ever going to have. So what are you talking about here? And they really got kind of, you know, kind of specific, like, well, if we have to, we'll have to possibly go in there and inject, possibly do some surgical things. Look, I'm just like, you know, I just have the air knocked out of me. How do we jump from this to this? And it's amazing how that happens. And anyway, my mom, who'd had lots of spinal issues in her life, was down there, and she said, that doesn't make sense. Maybe we should go to a chiropractor. And of course, the air came right out of the room. Like, I'm sorry, did you actually just say that out loud, ma'am? That's crazy. These folks, they have nothing to do with what we're talking about. I liked what my mom was saying. We went to a chiropractor there in this little college town, and he looked things over and saw that I had a vertebra that was out of place, basically, and right where it was hurting. And he said, I do think they're right, Kenna. I do think that you do have a pinched nerve, and what we need to do is just get the pressure off of the nerve, and the body will take over. The brain is waiting to heal this problem. It just can't get the information to the end, and the end was the lung tissue, the diaphragm. The system wasn't working. So he gave me a little bit of a hug, and I felt bones go click, clack, clunk, clunk, and I immediately just went, you know, it's like a baptism or something. I just came out like, thank you. I have air for the first time in, gosh, it's been about 12, 14 hours. And so that was my first introduction. And I had been in school long enough to think, maybe what I want to do is not be a history teacher or a coach, which was kind of expected probably of folks that knew me as a kid growing up. That just seemed like a natural process. But instead, I thought about healthcare for the first time, like, that was interesting. And I'd already been thinking about optometry. I'd already been thinking about you know, orthopedic surgery. I like to work with my hands. And but once I got that adjustment, for the first time I thought, well, what is this? What is the meaning of this? This is cool. So I interviewed this guy, and this chiropractor said, you know what, it's a great life. You get to help people without drugs, without surgery. You get to promote natural healing. Chiropractic is the second largest healthcare system in the world, and people don't realize that when we try to stay out of the medical model as much as possible, your chances of living are just as long, in my opinion. I didn't realize it, but we promote, depending on yourself, eating decent